Attention gamers. Braum is one of those champions Riot designed to be the perfect wingman in any situation. He brings a fun stack 4 game to any party. Ice cubes to keep the vibe chill. The willingness to show you that he is always excited to see you. Giant ice sculpted door shields to protect you and a big distraction when you don't like the attention being on you. He synergizes with tons of AD champs while having almost no abilities that scale with offensive stats. He is the embodiment of a support. So I took him top and built like a bruiser. Okay, so you're probably wondering one thing right now, why would anyone do this? And the short answer is I came up with the brilliant idea to let the internet decide my main for 1 week. So for starters, if you are someone who immediately typed Yumi jungle, eat a d. But the race to most comment clout was won by someone suggesting I take this pervy uncle looking support and become the Giga Chad, and thus here we are. So the setup to this torture festival that I volunteered myself for looked like this, and the build would be all about spending my wealth on health, since I scale with that while pretending to be a bruiser to make Battlesuit Bobo's happy. Anyways, the game starts. I'm up against this lanky Lucifer. We've been chirping at each other for a bit, slapping the other's tush until one of us is primed and ready to get raw dogged, and guess what, it'll be the wall hacking Reaper doing said raw dogging as I dash in just to flash out, and then frustrated with myself I punch a midget in the face while my jungler does more important things. And I guess the general idea is to stack 4 to stun some more, but then I was always left with nothing but a beefy hand to bitch slap a demon until I learned that I just had to style the stash and put my own ass in danger so that an athletic ram demon could crawl out of the wall for quick games of surprise you a dead hoe. Then since he was jerking my ween when I needed, I went to rotate for him, only for that douche devil to come flying in unannounced, pulling all kinds of black belt taekwondo Mortal Kombat style Hitmonchan on my ass. So naturally I grab my handy dandy ice cube door, then dash to my bestie 1 bard's fart away from death. The 2 daredevils take the brawl into the pit, where I toss a celeb shot from over the wall to make it a 1-for-1 trade as far as you're concerned. Side note, the little ranged wizards were too tricky for me to learn the timing, so half of them didn't give me the pins to their bank account before dying, which was shameful considering I risked a reputation as the guy who punches babies in the process. Anyways, I come back and Dick Tits McGee over here is acting like I don't exist, which rubs me the wrong way, so I have to show the world the power of this YouTube comment recommendation. But when he backs up and finally acknowledges me, you already know what I was doing. Then it was 12 minutes in, so I called up my team and said, hey, this is Silver, why are we all not mid? And then I made quite the grand entrance myself, before showing this Clementine eating cockalorum how my passive works. My jungler was a little too eager to cover top for me, because it turns out he has a crush on that demon and enjoys crawling inside his anus, and while butt play is fine, it gets complicated when Heather the hoe who has feathers to throw arrives, so I come in to make this odd situation an even one, and then I sprout a crusty ground vagina to shut the devil down. But here's the thing, if you think you can dye your hair ninja pink, pick out your best fluorescent cape and chuck quills at my friend, you are mistaken. So we hit one more casual homicide before #door time. Then we catch the eye jerk off to the Little Mermaid Thresh doing God knows what in front of an actively spectating dragon, which is a scene that I want to be a part of. So I shove a few ice cubes down his bony throat and take all the credit. Obama was fulfilling his duties as an ADC while this seaweed skeletal system fuckboy was continuing to make us question his intelligence, and when shit got real you could call me DoorDash because I was on to the next delivery. And as a warning, my lawyers warned me not to show this next play, but I'm curious if it's ever happened to any of you. You see, I had my camera panned down to this shitfest Jesus Christ reenactment ceremony while pathing down myself. Kane enters and my brain tells me that I am him, so I use my Q, but at the same time he uses an ability, so even though I did this, because he did this, I still thought that I was him. So what did I do next? But I eventually made it in myself, and no one on my team has to know what just happened. Anyways, there's red meat on the menu at McDragon's and the enemy team is acting like they could die from a vitamin B12 deficiency, so naturally I interrupt the dinner because after all, nice guys finish last, and I'm not really sure what to do with my hands as Braum in these fights, so I just miss a literal point blank Q and hang out in the area so that Rift Alexa's photos of the event make it look like I was participating.
Atrox said I watch too much anime cuss I called him Hashinshin LMFAO.
Cool, looks like we have the butt buddies on the other side of the fence mentally imploding, which is one of the most consistent strategies to win in current day league. As you can see, that pocket-sized ass hat in the Astro suit zoned out, giving me the cold shoulder as I'm right in front of her slapping hoodlums, and I don't think Battlesuit Bobos would accept such disrespect, so I ult that Spaceballs toddler and claim my rightful 69 gold for doing so. I run into her again, which presents the perfect opportunity to show why Hail of Blades turns me into Stun of Shades, and then we chase that pelican like we're Australian shepherds, and I blew Tubaluba into the wrong zip code before looking down, seeing my duo is narrating the story of my life. Then one thing leads to another. I'm lower than a hoe on a stripping pole and just waiting for my ride to get out. I see Kane set up to do something stupid around 0 objectives, but I like drama, so I publicly show my support as he then gets caught with his hoof in his mouth, baiting the rest of the boys into this shit fest, which means it was time for me to be the hero. Then Poppy dies. I make an absurdly funny joke in chat. We fountain fuck a few losers in their own base before winning the game, and yeah, never play this champ top. That was terrible, but I figured I would give the second place comment a go as well. And thus here I am on Spider-Man's shameful dirty search history in the mid lane, but this time I had a happy chime video to reference, so clearly I would have no issues with it.
Bruh.
Anyways, that wart-covered Bulbasaur kept trying to help a homie out, but the golden gates of Spatula Salem kept me about as useful as a flaccid dildo, as I then immediately ignored the fact that the red-robed midget wizards were still here but their master wasn't, and that's because he was off delivering a Dumbledore dick into my jungler. This gives them a free Drake until Mr. Tomness from Narnia comes in to show them his goat balls. I give birth to a little suicide bomber before having so much funnel vision you'd think I had a cone around my neck, and my nuts just got cut off, as I think this view illustrates how in my ELO League of Legends is not a MOBA, it's merely team deathmatch, and I'm all for it as they get the uncontested drag in the middle of my entire team, but we win the fight, and that, my friends, is success. I come straight bot despite my own wave being crashed in because Macro can take a backseat to the naughty photos I just sent to that Soraka's email #get outplayed and then get Soraka Flocka flamed by 4 of us, but it was around this point when something started seeming off, and I'm not talking about my accuracy being on par with a blind manatee, I'm talking about this Rammus. He was seemingly always watching from black and white, which meant even when that bear rolling a beehive did something dumb as shit, this itsy bitsy spider would go up the water spout, only to come down to all my friends being dead and me having to burn all my investment accounts worth of cooldowns to stay alive myself. But yeah, that rolling cat turd kind of just kept bouncing his turtle balls into danger and getting blown the butt chuggers up, which started resulting in situations like this where Lord Voldemort's left nut was getting quadras, leaving me as the only thing in between him and hearing Rift Alexa say that sweet P word, and I wasn't going to give him that satisfaction. Bam, no pentakill, and that, my friends, is a success in my book. Turns out Rammus, who was someone random from my Discord that I grabbed to queue with, did me dirty. Now please pretend my subscribe button just said something mean about your wife and slap it, and I'll see you in the next one. Rav out.
I'm in your crib with the blappy boy, talk to me slick and don't pop in your pappy. If happy talk back, then I'm taking your Grammy.